Welcome to Goblin Blood Bowl channel. Work hard, hit hard, play hard. Will you survive Goblin Blood Bowl? Proudly serving Bloodwifer beer in all Goblin stadiums.
Welcome to the GBBC. For this episode, we will be covering round 2 of the playoffs, predictions for round 3, and season-ending awards for the Proving Grounds. First up are the award winners. For the Defensive Player of the Year, this player knocked down 115 players, 10 casualties, killed 3 of them with 12 KOs. The winner is Daisy, the Minotaur on Pretty in Pink Pansies. For the Offensive Player of the Year, we have a player who did 10 touchdowns, 7 catches, and 452 yards rushing. This is Pineapple Upside Down Cake, a runner on the Dwarf Team Misty Mountain Cold Brew. Player of the Year did 9 touchdowns, 5 passes, 24 catches, 612 rushing yards, 18 passing yards. The winner is Violin, a catcher for RIP. The Coach of the Year, Asino, coach of RIP, who went undefeated with 8 wins and 2 draws.
Let's get it going with the second round matchups. Oni, do the honors and start with the first matchup, please.
Hey, we have a great matchup for you Blood Bowl fans. The 2 teams are the Wood Elf team RIP versus the Orc team Bunch of Tools. Tools won the coin toss and elected to receive. In typical Orc fashion, they bullied their way down the pitch, working to remove RIP players down both their war dancers. Time running out, and desperate, RIP sends Bimbo in on a risky blitz. Bimbo knocks Philip Rivers to the ground. The ball bounces to the open. Rambo dodges past an Orc to grab the ball. He throws a long pass to Tortuga. The crowd goes wild. Tortuga catches the ball and sprints down the field. He scores! RIP end up 1-0 at the half. Second half, RIP received, and after much dodging, put themselves in position to score again. Despite a valiant defensive effort, Violin scored a second touchdown. Things look grim for the Orcs, and they get worse as the Wood Elves blitz, putting 4 Elves into the Orc backfield. Bunch of Tools is able to get the ball, passing to and then sending the lone ball carrier forward. RIP, using their superior speed, stops the breakaway and any chance the Orcs have of tying the game up. RIP wins 2-0. Congratulations, RIP, on a great victory. Second match is between the Chaos Team Philosopher Kings and the Orc Team Stop Poking Me. Both teams look angry and ready to play. Stop Poking Me started the game on offense and took it to the Kings, injuring 2 players and knocking out another. Down players, the Kings played great defense. They knocked the ball loose, and a lone beastman recovered the ball, starting to dash down the field. Stop Poking Me finally dealt with the pesky beastman, grabbed the ball, and started back on offense. The Kings continued trying to stop the Orcs, but Stop Poking Me created an opportunity to score. Mr. Frenzied attempts a pass only to miss Rampaging Orc and a chance at a touchdown. First half ends 0-0. Great defense by the Kings, who played down players the entire first half. With the Kings receiving, it is now time for the Orcs defense to shine. Stop Poking Me crashed into the Chaos offense, putting pressure on the ball carrier and the front line. Taking a chance, Yaya Khan dashed forward, throwing to Ho Chi Minh, who then makes a break for the end zone. An Orc Shaman stops him with a lightning strike. With the ball on the ground, both teams clashed. The Kings proved stronger, pushing away the Orcs and grabbed the ball. Any chance to stop the touchdown ended after Barbarous Orc is tripped up. Wanting to equalize, Stop Poking Me tried moving the ball forward on their chance again, but are unable to break through the Chaos defense. Game goes to Philosopher Kings 1-0. Well done, Swellhelm.
The third matchup of round 2, Crazy Claws versus Assassins of Youth. Crazy Claws with a strong front and Assassins of Youth with a nice agile team ought to make this game pretty interesting. So let's head into the match. Crazy Claws receive the ball and proceed down the field. However, Assassins use their Wizard's Fireball, created an opening to the ball carrier Pepsi, and the Assassins of Youth immediately capitalize on it. First, Shifter knocks out Pepsi with the Eaton right behind him to get the fumbled ball, ending it with a quick throw to Invincible, pretty much destroying any planned offense that the Crazy Claws had out of the gate. Keeping the pressure on the ball, both sides make a scrum for the bulk of the half. But finally, the only from the Assassins picks up the ball, runs around the Croxiger Blue Crush, and throws a quick pass to Eaton, who runs it in for the hard-fought touchdown of the half. Assassins of the Youth receive in the second half, and the Crazy Claws damn near return the favor. Assassins, though, were able to stop the Crazy Claws' momentum and regain control to move the ball back down the field that eventually led to their second and final touchdown of the game. Assassins of the Youth win 2-0 over the Crazy Claws. Congratulations, Assassins of the Youth, you're going on to the third round. For the fourth game of round 2, Ragnoff's Nimrats versus Misty Mountain Cold Brew. Very agile team, fast scoring against very slow team and very long and boring team. Because they're the damn dwarves, you know how it is. So, let's get on with the game. Misty Mountain start the game receiving the ball. Looking strong, they block and bully their way up the field. But due to the Nimrat's stubbornness, Misty Mountains could not find a way to seal a touchdown by halftime. I find that to be an excellent job done by Ragnoff and his rats, as that can prove to be a most difficult feat to do. At the start of the second half with the rats receiving, Misty Mountains lines up aggressively. Rats were able to take advantage of this and started to move the ball up the field. Due to a little pressure from the dwarfs on the ball carrier, Nimrat attempts to throw the ball and ends up fumbling it instead. The dwarfs try to capitalize on it, but the Nimrats weren't having it. Recovering the ball, the Rats player, Mr. Brinsby, runs the ball down the field and puts distance away from the dwarf players staying in scoring position. From there, the Rats did to the dwarves what the dwarfs normally do to their opponents, and that is holding on to the ball until the final moments to score. Another fine victory for Ragnoff and his Nimrats in this playoff series. If Ragnoff and his team keeps up this momentum, they may find themselves in the championship game. I am excited to see how this will play out. Good luck, rodents. For the fifth match of round 2, Lounging Lizards versus the Trojan Norse. A strong front versus a very heavy style bash team. Let's find out how this game went. The Lounging Lizards start the game out receiving, but fail to do any real progress down the field due to the Norse playing some excellent defense. The Lizards just couldn't get an opening to advance that ball. Taking advantage of their defense's ability, Trojan Norse pressure the ball continuously and eventually win over the first half and end up getting the lone touchdown for the half. In the second half, the Norse received and moved the ball down the field. The Lounging Lizards, being outnumbered, were only able to provide a hiccup to the Norse's offense. By the time the Norse scored, there were only 3 sources left on the pitch. Tough match for the Lizardmen heading into this game, and it simply proved to be too much for them as they watched their hopes of this year's Proving Ground season come to a close. Congratulations to the Trojan Norse. Good luck in round 3.
Up next, Blood Bowl and Chill taking on the Jade Reavers. This game will be the 3rd time the two teams have played this season. Jade Reavers won the first 2 in the regular season, and the coach was overheard saying beating them 3 times in a row will be quite a feat. Jade Reavers started the game on offense. Knowing who the threat is, the Reavers targeted Law, and with a boot to the head, removed the only good player at tackling from the pitch. With the main threat eliminated, the Reavers marched down the field, removing several more elves for the touchdown. With the second half starting, Blood Bowl and Chill want revenge and the win. The Dark Elves started strong, knocking out 2 Sarai, but lose a player after trying to kick a lizard when they're down. The Reavers press hard on defense, leading to a Sarai interception by Misery. Blood Bowl and Chill and the Jade Reavers then scrum over the ball, with both sides able to knock it out and grab it. Time's running out, and the game slipping away, the Dark Elves mount a masterful attack to get the ball and scored the equalizer. Game now goes to overtime. Blood Bowl and Chill won the kickoff and elected to receive. House of Cards made a long pass to Divorce, who with two others dashed down their left side of the field. Now the Jade Reavers are desperate and called upon a mage to blast the elves running down the pitch. Only the ball carrier was taken down, yet the slight opening let the lizards recover the ball. Screening off the Dark Elves, Beguile is able to sprint down the field and scored the winning touchdown. Overall, a tough match against a great coach. I am very happy with the win and moving on in the playoffs.
I have to say myself, you got extremely lucky, your team. Wow, that was really close. He was on your heels all the way to the touchdown, too. Anyway, good job to both coaches. And for the 7th match, Sleeping Dragons versus No Steroids Here. This match took place at my personally built stadium, Dragon's Roost. The stadium holds up to 50,000 fans of all shapes and sizes. Unless you are a dwarf, everyone is welcome to come and watch the games at 100 gold pieces each. I made it affordable as I wanted fans of all classes to be able to attend and participate. Lots of blood wifer beer and lots of food condiments available. And of course, we have a family area to help minimize or eliminate any injuries to kids. Now, let's get to the game that just happened yesterday. No Steroids here start their game on offense and receive the ball first. At first, they attempt to run down the right side of the pitch, but Sleeping Dragons quickly made them think otherwise. Smartly, Lifstein backs off and retreats behind his teammates. This almost costs him a touchdown as Baby Boomer knocks him on his ass, grabs the ball, and starts moving down the pitch. Luckily for the NSH team, Jumping Jimmy couldn't push away Scuff the Howler off the ball carrier, and that allowed Scuff to knock down Baby Boomer for NSH to get back on offense. Sleeping Dragons continuously kept applying pressure on the ball, so much in fact that Kicking Claws trips over himself, knocking himself out in his frenzied state. This allowed the No Steroids team to create the opening they needed to advance the ball down the field, leading to the only touchdown of the half. Lazy Luke was in position to attempt a tackle on Illowstein, but instead chose to push Haroldmore out of bounds, which in a way paid off as Haroldmore ended up with a fractured arm from the zealous fans of the Sleeping Dragons. Sleeping Dragons receive on the start of the second half. They set up for an aggressive drive and start moving the ball down the right side of the pitch, killing Sculf, the howler of the NSH team, while doing so. No Steroids Yeti provided some good defense, but could not stop Duck the Upcheck from throwing the ball to Shocking Shelly for the Sleeping Dragons touchdown. The game being tied up, it heads into overtime. Sleeping Dragons receive the ball first. With the Dragons being exhausted and the NSH's blitz to contend with, they fumbled up their drive, which went into a scrum for a bit. Being down players by a ratio of 2 to 1, the NSH almost sneaks away with the ball a few times. Getting it together, the Sleeping Dragons eventually made the ball their priority and did everything they could to protect the ball. Derver Frost made that pretty difficult by being one of the most reliable big guys I have ever seen on the Blood Bowl pitch. However, the big guy of the NSH simply could not keep his momentum, and that is where the Sleeping Dragons were able to finalize the game with a throw from Duck to Shelly for the last touchdown of the game. As good of a game this was, and as hard as the No Steroids Here played, Sleeping Dragons allowed the No Steroids Here's players to all stand up before scoring the last touchdown. And the NSH team deserved a little recognition for their efforts. Sadly, their Proving Ground season comes to an end as they see the Dragons moving on to the third round of the playoffs. Congratulations, Sleeping Dragons. You are going to have to work harder for your next match.
For our last game of round 2, we have the Aztecs going against School of Crocs. The Aztecs are down 2 Black Orcs, while School of Crocs goes into the match with all their players healthy. Now, let's find out how the understrength Orcs do against the Lizard team, Sock. The Orcs start it down their right side, with Sock responding with pressure on the ball carrier. The Orcs respond and are able to get early player advantage, then use the numbers to foul a down Saurus. Michael Cage failed to go through his armor, with the ref catching him, sending him to the locker room. School of Crocs then send Garaxel to block the retreat of the ball carrier, sending the ball carrier out of bounds. After the crowd threw the ball into the middle of the Aztecs' half, both teams spent the rest of the half trying to control the ball. First half ends 0-0. Second half started with School of Crocs up one player 10-9. With the number advantage and a couple of casualties, the Lizards skate to an easy touchdown. With time running out, the Aztecs are able to try a desperate pass, going for the score, only to watch in horror as the skink Zolchai intercepted the ball. Game goes to School of Crocs. Overall, a great game by Shushnik and Come On Mac. And now we're going to talk about the 4 matches coming up for round 3. First up is RIP taking on the Philosopher Kings. I think RIP is going to win. They just have the playmakers that'll get the job done. And unfortunately for the Philosopher Kings, they just don't have the players they need to really go after those playmakers.
I kind of have to side with Oni on this one. RIP do have the playmakers. It's almost built into those. But the Philosopher Kings, though, they just don't seem to have the ability to handle high agile teams. I kind of have to side with the RIP. Philosopher Kings built more for killing. RIP used to being killed. I'm going with RIP. For the second match of round 3, I will discuss Assassins of the Youth versus Ragnar's Nimrats. This is a close matchup. Both are high agile teams. Both will get the ball moving. However, I'm going to go with Assassins of Youth. I think their players stay on the pitch a little bit longer. They do have an assassin to handle out those little dodgy little pesky rats. I think they're more geared and more ready to play against the Nimrats than the rats are against them. So I'm going to go with my vote on the Assassins of Youth.
I'm actually going to have to disagree. While the Assassins of Youth do have a decent team, Ragnar's Nimrats just have the freaks that are on there. I think with those players, he's going to get the job done and win yet again. Our third match sees the Trojan Norse taking on the Jade Reavers. I'm going to have to side with the Jade Reavers because the coach is just awesome. I also think, though, that despite the ability of the Trojan Norse to do some damage, I'm going to get the job done. I'm moving on in the playoffs.
Well, you are a good coach, but not that good. I think the Trojan Norse, because of their abilities and their bash style play, I think they'll end up out-bashing you. I think if it happens early in the game, I think they'll just walk right through with a score of 2-1. I think it'll become down to a late moment score with him holding on to the ball at the end of the end zone. That's what I believe what will happen. However, if he does get the later casualties, then it'll be a scrum. I think only you have a challenge on this one coming at you. My vote, Trojan Norse. The next and the best matchup will be the Sleeping Dragons versus School of Crocs. Sleeping Dragons known for a little bit of bash, but usually something is always happening in their game. And against the School of Crocs having a strong 6 with a very mobile Crocsigger. That'll be interesting. My team, I worked with my team a little bit already, and we're still working on it. And I think we're going to come into this game very well prepared. I'm definitely putting my vote on my own team here, Sleeping Dragons.
I also will be going for the Sleeping Dragons, if only so I can crush him in the next round. I think it'll be a good matchup. Shushnik has done very well with his team. It does go in a little bit beat up, though, and I think that he just, even with 13 players, I think he'll just end up having some issues, and the swatting, slumping Dragons will somehow manage to win.
I know you guys have been waiting for this. Here are the 3 deaths for round 2 of the playoffs. My name is Fat Zombie.
And this is Oni Goku, signing off.
Cowboy. Cowboy. Cowboy.